Well, we had always had nice Christmases, and whatnot. Celebrated them really, to the fullest. They were never as exploited as they are today, but it was mostly home and family time and whatnot. And your presents, lots of times, were stuff that your brothers or sisters might make for you themselves and give to you and whatnot. It wasn't a big thing where dollar value was something. It was thought that counted and whatnot. And there were in Chester, there were parades when I was a kid. I've told you, I know I've got pictures of parades in the 40s, and they're put away so good I haven't found them yet, but they're there somewhere. And there was a lot of that where the communities would have Grace Bible always had a thing. The Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Women's Auxiliary, the fire companies always had fire trucks and whatnot that came to visit and whatnot. And they had, in fact, one year, it was funny. We got together, a bunch of us who were friends, and we decided, well, we should do something for the Fourth of July parade. So one of the fellows who just passed away was art director for County College, and back in its beginning when it was so much smaller than it is today. And he says, well, I'll make purple people. So what he did, he took huge bags and painted them purple and put with a face, and we put them over. So you cut with eye slots. You couldn't tell who we were. And we took, the Bowdens used to have a wagon that they had in front of their house, horse-drawn wagon. And so we would take turns, two of us would take turns pulling the wagon, and all our kids were in the wagon. And we had fun along the way, doing things to people and whatnot, because my father at that time was a forest warden, and we used to have backpacks for carried water, 5 gallons of water in a backpack, which you could squirt to put out a forest fire. We used to take that, and somebody would take that, and we would squirt people we knew, not people we didn't know and whatnot, and get them wet, because it didn't matter, it was warm. But about midway through the parade, on one of the turns, one of the wheels decided to collapse on the wagon. Now we got a wagon with 3 wheels, right? But we got a load of kids, and we still are all just out, and we're not going to give up. So we took turns being the wheel. You hand on. In fact, I've got a scar above my knee, right, still today, where the axle was kind of raw, and if you weren't careful, you hit it, and it would scrape your leg and whatnot. But for probably half of the parade, we took turns being the 4th wheel, along with pulling it. Had a great time. Won, I think, 5 or 6 different trophies and whatnot, which we finally decided, I don't know where they are today, but we finally decided the trophies would move from house to house. And they did for years, and then after a while, it's somebody had them, and where they got put, who will ever know. But we had a good time doing it and whatnot.
And that was in the 1950s?
Yes, yeah. It was one toward the end of, well, but let's face it, because Jack's 62 and he was probably maybe 9 or 10, at the time. And all of them were, pre-teens that were riding in the wagon and whatnot. But there was a couple on Pleasant Hill. They had 2 girls and a boy. I had the 3 boys. And John and Bunny, they had 3 boys. And, the different ones. But there were a whole flock of us, really. We had a wagon full of kids, really. Whatnot. But it was fun. Whatnot.